If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Stager.
All right, welcome to High School Hoops. The end of August, I started going back to school. But I'm not I'm not the young pup in this podcast, so I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The other one,
my tunnel is pretty dark right now.
Long way to go.
Yeah,
long way to go. All right, before we jump into today's podcast, a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market, bar none. Mention us, and you'll get $400 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I just got my son's tuition bill for Middlebury. So if you want to help a guy out. But anyway, it is the one-stop shop. You will find nothing else like it. You will not find another site like it run by a high school coach for high school coaches to help high school coaches that know what high school coaches go through. This is it. I'm telling you, there's no one else running one like it. Everyone else is running multi-million-dollar companies, and not me. I'm sitting in my basement. Actually, this isn't my basement, but so go over and check them out. www.teachhoops.com. One-stop shop. Better than Netflix, better than Hulu and Amazon Prime and Peacock and Discovery Plus. I'm just going through all the streaming services. Okay, what's today's topic, Coach?
So last week we talked about selecting an offense, basically, and then we talked about the power of three, the importance of ball movement. Your power of three being around ball movement, court spacing, and then player movement. And today is basically taking your offense and then starting to think about drill progressions that you can utilize in your practices for the year.
So I'm gonna throw this back to you. What do you think about this? And then I'll jump into kind of some of the stuff I've done over my career.
I think you want to take a lot of the screen action that you do, and like you talked about mesh points and finding ways to do drills that have them read those mesh points, which either could be as simple as doing cone work to start with. Do I pop? Do I fade? Do I curl? It depends on a screen away. Depending on what your offense is, if you're running some ball screen offense, what are reads? You could do a lot of things just to start the season off pretty early, just reads without defenders, just to start understanding what you can and can't do. And then you can build off of that being 1v1, 2v2 on different spots of the floor and having them react to that, So I think it's just taking different parts of the offense and then kind of, I don't know, like almost like a microscope, really scoping into that piece or that area of the floor where that action or that mesh point is happening, and then being able to build off of that.
Yep. So here's what I'm going to tell you. A couple things. I think small-sided games is a wonderful way to teach this.
Yeah.
I think 1v1, 1v2, 2v2, 2v3, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to break down. I mean, I've probably got 20 slides, 30 slides of drills that I do for our rule of three offense. But I'm going to tell you, here's what you need to drill: the fundamentals. You need how to set picks or how to set screens, how to use screens, okay, and how to slip to the basket. Kids are not good at slipping to the basket, and they're also not good at passing on the slips. So Let me say that again.
Right. So what you're saying is not reading the scripts, right? So when you mean passing, is that player doesn't see that slip happening, right? That vision.
Yes, it's too late.
Too late.
So how to set the picks, how to use the picks, and how to slip. The fourth one, I only have 3 that I normally talk about in Power 3, but I think the fourth one is, and I'm going to add this at some point, is reading that pass on the slips. Okay, then reading the defense. So when you're screening for me and I'm coming off the screen, like I told you last week, we make them stop there and pause because I want them. Which cut do I need to use when I'm coming off it? Do I need to use a curl? Do I need to use pop? So I think reading the defense is the second big thing. So first one is kind of, I put it under the category of fundamentals, how to set the picks, how to use the picks, how to slip. So the second thing is reading the defense, which cut to use, which is the first one.
Which is more of your live action, right? More of your 2v2, 1v1, 3v3.
Small sided. Yep. Then the second, this is the hardest one. And coaches and I always laugh at practice about this one because we can always see it. There's some kids that just get it, is varying the cuts. Because cuts, they'll want to do the same curl cut. They'll want to do the same, slip cut, whatever they're going to do. So varying the cuts is really hard, and you got to break that skill down for them so they get used to the other ones. And then the third thing is when reading the defense is you want to create some confusion. You don't want them when that mesh point comes together, the person screening and the person coming off, you don't want to be predictable. Okay, you want to be the crazy guy at the party that some days will be sitting in the corner talking to somebody, and the next party will be having the lampshade on his head. Confusion, not knowing what's going to happen, a little bit of chaos. Because what happens is offenses tend to get very flex-like or swing-like, predictable, easy to defend, and when you want to create confusion. So I put that under the category of reading the defense, which cuts to use, varying the cuts, and creating confusion. I think those are the things that you really want to do. Now, I'm not going to get in. If you want to see what we do with Power 3, you can click down below, but I'm not going to get into nuances in a podcast. But I think those 3 categories of fundamentals and the 3 categories of reading the defense are the key to any offense. It doesn't matter if you're running Princeton. You got to learn it doesn't matter. You got to learn how to read the defense. You got to do the fundamentals of that specific defense. 25 years ago when I was running flex, it was the same thing. It was how setting the screens up. What are they going to do? Oh, they're switching. What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. So talking about those nuances is the key, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I also think that, depending on your actions too. So a lot of your actions, our offenses are different. So there's a lot of offenses are screen based. A lot of offenses are dribble based, right? So if you're a dribble based offense, it's really important for players without the basketball to read their dribble. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I am dribbling into the middle of the floor, as a person, I have to be able to be in an area to get the basketball for a shot. Am I drifting? Or am I lifting? Right, drifting or lifting. So I also think that too, depending on what your offense is are you looking at those reads too? If you have a very drill based offense, right? Or if I'm a ball screen offense in those match positions, what am I doing off the ball when that ball screen is happening? Do I have actions and do I have interchange? Do I have things like that? You have to really look at your key things. So like, I will tell you, I think it becomes harder when your offense is very freelance to create those drills, because I think it really is those power of 3. You're really building your offense. I think when you run a flex or a continuity, there you can basically find a lot of them, or it's very simple because those mesh points are always pretty much the same. So like if you're running the flex at flex screen, okay, what can I do off the flex screen? What do I do if they bump the cutter? What do they do if they switch? Do I bump and do I fade out? Do I go over the top of the screen? Do I go under the top of the screen? What all those things. So there's a lot to think about. But the thinking and doing those progressions are very essential if you really want to run good offense. You can run your offense whole all the time, but it's still not going to be where it could be if you don't decide to create progressions and read the game. You can't just repeat the same offense over and over and over, right? Like, it's like, think about from a quarterback wide receiver, you got to practice those routes. You got to practice those reads, right? You can't do it holistically all the time. It's just not going to be good. You got to break it down. And because then you get to, if you constantly do your whole all the time, you're talking about them always repeating the same action. If you don't teach them the actions and you don't teach them reads, or you don't encourage it in practice and breakdowns, you're not going to see that in the 5v5.
Right.
I really want to, if you were working on slips all day, right? Then you go to 5v5 and you want to see some kids doing that, Not the problem is too, you'll notice this too, right? You've been hammering it for so long. Now, every time everybody's slipping, it's like, but you got to constantly work on variations all the time. I'm going to
tell you, like when you run read and react or you power through, whatever, it's always pass the wing, cut to the basket. They will do that. That will take you 37 seconds to teach them that, because it's easy. They will do the easy thing. It's harder to go set the screen. It's harder to do the other reads. It's hard to get the slip. It's harder to get, some of those other cuts coming off. It's just harder. And
I also think that's what they're familiar with, right? Most youth offenses are always pass and cut. That's something that they know that they can do. They can do it well. That's their comfort zone. And now to really get them thinking, but you have to put them in a position to be successful. That's the teacher in you. As a coach in you, is like, what are you doing to make your offense the best it can be?
More effective. I agree.
Because just keep practicing it. It's not going to help you. You got to break it down.
Really not. All right. Till next week, Coach.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, get ready for school.
Thanks.
Yeah. I can count the number of days I have left teaching. But you can't.
No, I can count the days till I have to go back to work. That's about it. And I'm excited this year. I have the same group of kids. I'm going with them. I'm looping, so I'm very excited.
Looping.
Yeah.
I hated looping for my kids.
Really?
I did, because it's like I wanted them to meet more people, and that's like.
Yeah, but when you have as great a teacher as me.
No, but okay. So I meant, so we're just gonna go off thing here for high school hoops. So is looping the same kids? So they were in first grade and then you teach them in second grade?
Yes.
Or is it a mixture of second and third graders? That's what I didn't like. Okay.
No. You're thinking like I'm just taking my
blended
first grade
classes. Blended classes. My kids had some blended classes. Those were horrible.
It's tough.
Because it's hard for the teacher.
Yeah.
And again, going back to offense, like, so I'm going to teach, we're going to have one team and I'm going to teach flex and you're going to teach read and react with the same kids. That's what you're trying to do. And it doesn't work. Like, you want one grade level, teach one thing, focus on what. So that's my challenge to all of you. See how I pulled that back? I get an A for that. All right. Great podcast, Coach.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.